Welcome back to the Victor Gonzalez Show, and today we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals defense. The Cincinnati Bengals defense wasn't one that was highly rated last year, or at least heading into last year. But towards the end of the postseason, you could see a lot of improvements, not only in its secondary, but also in its pass rush, with Trey Hendrickson really leading that. You have Lou, their defensive coordinator, coming into his second year, and you have Sam Hubbard, and you have DJ Reader, and you have BJ Hill, four of their main interior pass rushers. Then you have Lamp Sample. Then you have Joseph Asai, who was very good out of college 2 years ago before he was injured during last year before the season had begun. And now looking at their linebackers, you have Logan Wilson, who really showed to be key in the divisional game against the Tennessee Titans. You have Jermaine Pratt, who was very good in spots last year for the Bengals as a rotational linebacker. Akeem Davis, who was another rotational linebacker. And then at corner you have Chidobe Awuzie, who was very good for them. You have Eli Apple, who talked a lot last year, and Cooper Kupp showed him who's really the boss in the Super Bowl. And then you have Mike Hilton, who's one of the higher graded and one of the better slot corners in all of football. And you have Trey Flowers, who's a very good who can be a very good rotational cornerback. And you have Cam Taylor-Britt, who seemed to do some nice things out of college this past season. Then at safety, you have Jesse Bates, who's currently in some contract issues with the Cincinnati Bengals due to him being under the franchise tag while wanting a long-term deal. And then you have Von Bell and Daxton Hill. Daxton Hill, who looked very good at Michigan, and Von Bell, who was a very quality safety for them this past season. Now, depending on how Jesse Bates takes his holdout or what he does with his franchise tag, will really tell what this defense can do. Jesse Bates is one of the better free safeties in all of football, with his ability to go above and play that single high safety or a two high safety and really be a shutdown safety. He's very good when the ball's up in the sky and he can track it and stay with any of them. With one of the plays in the conference championship against the Kansas City Chiefs in overtime, he's the one who makes the play to get the Bengals the turnover. And then you have Evan McPherson, who showed his clutchness not only in the divisional game but also in the conference championship game. And then Kevin Huber, who is just a quality punter, but when you have guys on that offensive end like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, you don't really have to worry about them. And with Zach Taylor being in another year trying to come off of a Super Bowl, this defense is really going to need to step up. Not only because of who they play on their schedule, with them winning their division last year and them having to play the best team in each division, meaning the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Titans, the winners of all the division, which makes them play the number one seed or the number one placed team in each division in their schedule. But when you're having to play the Browns and the Ravens, it also shows that you're going to be playing against very good quarterback play if all the quarterbacks on those two teams are who we project to be the starter if everyone is good to go. Which is why this Bengals defense is really going to have to carry them to keep them from not only falling into the pack, but allowing them to stay at where they were last year and try to become two-time AFC Champs or really defend their crown as the AFC Champs another year. That's why this Bengals team has a lot of pressure on them, because a year ago we saw the Bengals as one of the worst teams in football, and now with them having these expectations on them and how with Joe Burrow really showing off, the Bengals have now even sold their title of the stadium to now pay Joe Burrow, which means when you pay a guy like Joe Burrow in the next couple of years to sell your title, it's really going to put expectations on this team, which is something the Bengals haven't dealt with in forever. Marvin Lewis, you kind of expected or hoped for an appearance in the playoffs, but now you're expecting the Bengals to win a playoff game and expecting them to do a lot of things in this NFL league, which is going to be very tough for them now with every team gunning for them as they are the AFC Champs.